Hi, welcome back to
All Valley Karate.
Okay, we've stayed up much later than most parents should to watch the first 2 episodes of season 3.
This is episode 1 and 2 review.
Right, if you have not seen episode 1 or episode 2 of...
Spoilers, so this is spoilers. So
of season 3.
This is going to be us talking about what we've seen so far.
Our first impressions
of episode
the
1 and 2 and what we think might happen. For those that are not binge watching the whole thing, if they want to watch 1 or 2 at a time, as we have...
As humans should, honestly. I mean, you really shouldn't go through, however many episodes. It's like 9. Didn't even see.
Yeah.
I didn't want any spoilers.
So anyway, this is 1 and 2.
So, episode 1, what do we... Okay, it's kind of like the fallout. It seems like it's like the first 2 weeks after the school fight.
It takes
Miguel's
us 2
still
weeks,
in a coma. Sam's expelled from school, or not Sam's. Sam's delayed from school. She's taken out for 2 weeks. Tori's expelled, and Robbie is expelled.
And so we're finding out where these characters have been in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
First, like Miguel's coma, halfway through it, you go, what part did you get to play in Cobra Kai? The extra that gets to play this extra karate guy that plays this part. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. We haven't looked at any of the IMDb stuff yet. Yeah. I don't even know if he'll get credit because he doesn't have a spoken line.
Right, but I said it's Miguel is fighting this like half white, half black dressed other karate foe who kind of sort of looks like a young Johnny Lawrence.
It does, yeah. And what's the back of that? I kept watching. I haven't paused it yet. It's something with a Y. There's some type of karate on the back of it, and I bet you it's a clue to either something that's going to happen, or if it's a clue to like maybe a meaning of something, of like that being the coma that he's fighting.
Right. Yeah. So I said, what part did you get to play? Oh, just the coma, the representation of a coma that Miguel is fighting.
Interpretive coma.
Right.
Karate fighter.
Yeah, that's my role. It was.
I mean, you gotta make it.
It's beautifully artistic.
Be a good fighter.
I really liked how they entered.
Well written
like
to do it like that. As much of like everything's beautifully written so far.
Yeah, we're really impressed with the first 2 episodes so far. It's very good.
Of all the writing and the characters.
So then we find out that Robbie stole a Dodge van. Oh, that awful cousin is back in it.
Yeah.
For the LaRusso auto. I don't like that actor. I mean, I'm sure he's a great actor because I don't like his character.
Every show always has some character like that. Where
like in Gilmore Girls, where you're like, I'm skipping past this cousin brother-in-law scene.
It's usually a cousin. It's usually some sort of Italian
annoying
or Boston
cousin.
or something.
Yeah. So he's back in it. Hopefully he doesn't screw things up too much, but we'll just have to see.
Well, so far he hasn't screwed anything up. He's one that found that they got a car.
Yeah, that Rob
should be on the roster, and it's not.
Right, and that they had a GPS, and that they found kind of like a Tango and Cash moment, like Johnny and Daniel had, and then they find that he stole this van, and You can watch the whole episode, but it's great. It's really well done.
The music that kicks in when they start fighting in the shop.
Is that the first episode still?
No, that's second.
That's second episode.
That's when they start. We're gonna. The reason that's why we do 1 and 2, because we're not going to be able to separate in our minds what's 1 and 2 yet.
It's just also like.
We just watched it. I mean, it's 4:05 our time or 4:15 our time at the time of shooting this.
Right.
And it came out at 3:01.
Yeah.
So
we pushed play.
We watched 2 of them back to back, and here we are.
Yeah. So you want to talk about the music of them when they get into the chop shop?
As soon as the fight scene starts. Like that music is brilliant. Well, that's Motley. That's when they're
chasing him.
Yeah, but that wasn't scored. This was scored, right. Like for the fight scene in the chop shop. That was perfectly scored.
Whoever was in charge of that.
It was very 80s, but at the same time, like scored well.
But this is the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, that you see Johnny and Daniel fighting together
for the same
against
cause.
The same foe.
Yeah, that would be the first time, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and like how they're kind of like playing off of each other, and then they fight each other. That's the first time they
It's like Double Dragon, Like Double Dragon, the arcade, where you fight together, all these goons, for hours at the arcade, and then all of a sudden you save the girl from the giant goon guy, and then now you got to fight each other. And
I'm sorry, I haven't personally played it all the way through.
Wow, yeah.
I'm a girl.
I did it on like $1.75 one time, and I was like, So,
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would be impressed with that. Anyways, so yeah, that was a really cool scene. And then they split ways. And where does Johnny go? He goes to go visit Miguel in the hospital.
Yeah,
because he finds out. Because he finds out that he was out of his coma from Amanda's text. Mm-hmm. But skipping back to episode 1, where after Johnny gets into the bar fight and punches that guy's car and then gets the crap beat out of him, and then his first place he goes after jail is to visit Miguel in the hospital, and he can't get in because he's not family or a doctor or patients, and so he tries to steal that doctor coat, and I was like, no, he's gonna be a patient. Watch. And what happened? He slams his head into that thing so he can be a patient and gushes blood all over and tries to visit Miguel, and he does, and then he gets kicked out.
I'd like to visit the chop shop scene again.
Okay.
One, our 10-year-old son is watching it with us, and I think I've told him what chop shop was before in the past, but he didn't remember. So they were like, he doesn't know what chop shop is. Anyhow, that was first time as we saw it, saw him fight back to back. But I liked how they showed Daniel not feeling confident in the situation, and then
because it was like a seedy environment.
And we see this in episode 2 as well, where where we're learning about Kreese, and he, kicks the crap out of those guys in the late 60s, and he's like, I've been fighting my whole life, so, I'm
Where's
not afraid of you, you know what I'm saying? So we saw that in episode 2 earlier, where, Johnny's helping Daniel understand, I've been in this.
Right.
We got this.
Yeah.
There's 8 goons around them or so, and Daniel's timid, and Johnny is
because he just wants to.
And we saw that in season 1 with Johnny taking on those bikers. Right, he just walked right up to the dirty
when
biker
they were trying to
with
torch
a crowbar,
his car.
And they got gasoline, a chain, a crowbar, or a baseball bat.
Yeah, and 3 of them.
You just so that's why he was confident in the chop shop, and Daniel was like, no, come on. But Daniel was also trained to avoid fights.
Yeah.
But that is not the time to avoid it. They had to get information, and that guy
had the information. Yeah.
But Johnny kept pushing because he was trained with the no mercy, and then there's Daniel going,
Can't we
the
find
guy's
another
almost
way?
dead. The guy's almost dead. You got, you're going to kill him, and that's what Johnny learned in the end of season 2, and now Daniel's trying to show him how to apply it.
Right.
But then again, maybe the guy had no, because you saw Johnny get information like that in the first one, with God of his cousin.
But like you said though, is you're gonna kill him. That's what Kreese is holding Johnny in the headlock.
Oh right.
At the end of Karate Kid, you're gonna kill him. So sorry, it's the beginning of the second one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shot that as part. That's how the
that's
original
why I get
was
it
supposed.
confused.
The original was supposed to end that way. Mm-hmm. For those that aren't huge Karate Kid original film fans, all that was shot. And at the time of Karate Kid 1 was being shot, and that was how it was supposed to end. And
with the Kreese headlock,
the director, I think, at the time, or maybe the producers, figured out.
Let's
right
end
here,
it with the win.
Dun dun dun, boom.
And then it brings you to tears every time. Still,
yeah,
and
Mr. Miyagi's grin and stuff.
Yeah, you love that part.
And the crowd,
I mean, every boy, everybody. Yeah. But so that's great how that ties in too, with all of that. So amazing first two episodes. Makes me want to watch a third, which is good writing. It's just
we
great.
Talked about Miguel's reaction. That's exactly how. A person would react in that
when he does get out of his coma. Spoiler alert, if you've seen the trailer, but he does get out of his coma, and then when Johnny visits him the second time after he steals the van and goes and visits him, he's awake, and so Miguel is not happy to see him, and that's
exactly what the character should say.
Yeah, I followed everything you said, and look what has happened to me.
It was I had to mention this too, as parents or as guardians or coaches and everything that I've been throughout life. I've been a mentor, an instructor, a coach, and now a parent.
Right.
And you hit that moment. I saw that right away. I saw a mirror when you look at Johnny's face. And he did such a good job, actor and everything in that scene. Because that's, you get that all the time because, you're a human being too. And
your children really are a product of what
Or your it's not just your children; it's your proteges and everybody, and they're looking at you and they're like, "I followed your directions, and
this is where it's led me." Which brings us which brings us to Robbie, though, because you think that Daniel is, this.
Well, he already said it out loud.
Society.
He already said it out loud.
I'm willing to admit my mistakes.
Yeah, but then he's saying that he tried to put the blame on Johnny, saying, "I guess he had something of you in him." See, like trying to not. Say that it was his problem.
Right.
He already tried to, like Daniel likes to do, put the blame somewhere else. Where Johnny takes it upon himself.
Yeah, I'm a piece of crap. I always
100%, and then he ends up where he's at, beat up and drunk. Which we all have been too. Yeah,
so either you're like an avoider and you just try to like fix the situation, or you're like Johnny and you kind of get like stuck in that rut of a situation because you're feeling too much blame on yourself. So like Daniel doesn't feel enough blame and Johnny feels too much blame, and there's like a balance there. And
they're teaching each other how to work through it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to see in the next episodes. But I just have to say again, like for the parents that are watching this, and and your coaches and mentors, like that scene right there, and where they're going to take this from there. It's perfect, perfect writing for the situation that all of us have seen at some time or another, because we're human beings, and you fail people sometimes, and you have to answer to that somehow, and how do you? And that's what I really like about this writing, how realistic it is and how much it hits home to at all ages.
Yeah, in that scenario, you're definitely more Johnny and I'm more Daniel, where I'm like, okay, I messed up, but like we can fix it all these different ways and all these things, and you're just like, no, this sucks, I suck, I caused it, this sucks. So it's like I totally see everything. So that brings us to Daniel and his relationship with Robbie now, and trying to scatter all about Southern California, trying to find this runaway kid.
And he's destroyed his trust. now Robbie's not going to trust him.
Oh, that was such an awful scene. Okay, so he finally tracks Robbie down. Robbie is with his mom, who is in rehab, who we found out that the LaRussos paid for her rehab. I guess there was like a little segment of that in season 2. I kind of briefly remember that. But she's in rehab. Robbie goes and sees her. She contacts Daniel and says he's here. He's all like gaunt and like from being homeless and not eating, because you see him counting quarters and being poor and living the homeless life and everything. And so Daniel shows up, and you think he's in the middle of trying to calmly work his way around and tell Robbie, this is going to be the most difficult part. You're going to have to turn yourself in to make it not so hard. And, cops in the typical style that they are just come in and kind of mess everything up a little bit. Because Robbie kind of overhears like the little chatter of the police radio, and it freaks him out, and the police come because they think he's going to run away.
Then he's wrestled down and stuff.
Yeah, so it was Daniel was trying to handle it delicately. I really don't think
trying to get him to go down, drive him down there, and just
I wonder who called the cops. I guess it was Daniel, because he was just going to be like, let's talk him into it, and then he can just go willingly.
It's not impossible, but it could have been the establishment, because he would have had to, for him to have visited his mom, he would have had to have given his name at the front or a name, or they would have had to have recognized him from the news or something. So it's not impossible that they would have turned him in as well or something.
So the situation could have been handled a lot better. And like you said, now Robbie can't trust Daniel. So that's the...
And all these like messages of like violence begets violence, and
like going into something harshly won't create something better out of it.
I like that we're seeing Crease's
Oh gosh, that's a whole nother part of the thing, is like, you called it in the very beginning of season 2. We go to like mid 60s, and you said, oh, this is Crease's story. And I think along with most of the audience would think that Crease was the jock character, especially because the way they had the jock character do the mannerisms. They had the mannerisms and the whole thing.
Right, but here's the thing.
I'm saying I fell for it.
But with good filmmaking, you never, when you do a flashback scene like that of some sort, you never have the first character seen as the character.
Yeah.
You know what comes to mind is Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, where we have this flashback to an earlier time, and you think that the characters that we're seeing is Indiana Jones, but it's these bandit type guys that are, and then we see Indiana Jones as actually one of the teenagers that is part of the Boy Scouts or something, and it's River Phoenix that plays him. And then he sees the guy that he doesn't like or something. He's like, this should be in a museum, but he also is somebody that he's like aspiring to be, and he takes on all of these mannerisms, such as the Indiana Jones cap and and the guy's jacket.
Who doesn't look good in a fedora?
And the guy's jacket and such like that, So that kind of comes to mind. But good filmmaking, the first character that's seen is never the character that we're going to be focusing on. And soon as that jock character bumped the employee, I knew the employee. I go, that's Kreese.
And that was surprising to me.
It was like, how was it not obvious? Like, as soon as that guy got bumped, I was like, that's Kreese.
They just didn't,
it's the bullied situation.
They didn't hang on him longer. Like, usually it's a little bit more overt and obvious. They usually hang on that other character a little bit longer, or, all this different things. So that was a really surprising thing. So what I was thinking in episode 2, I thought was so profound, is that Kreese says that there's no right and there's no wrong and there's no good and evil and this and that, which I don't agree with. But in his philosophy, episode 2 really does show you that could be true in that world, because the two villains that we really have here is Kreese and, in my opinion, Tori. I know you're big pro Tori fan, and I'm not. But so we have Kreese and we have Tori, but then they become sort of the protagonists of episode 2 when it comes to Tori and her rent and the sleazeball that tries to get her
the world you deal
rent.
With, yeah.
And then we have in the 60s how, Kreese is just trying to be an employee and be a, good American going off to war and this whole thing, and he has to defend himself, and you're feeling sorrow for both of them.
And we know what's going to happen if it's not obvious. Like, he's getting on the bus, he's saying goodbye to his sweetheart. He's going to come back a changed man, and that relationship is going to dissolve due to his
the hell that war is.
Yeah, and his mental damage from that, and his relationship with her is not going to be the same, or she may not wait for him. Whatever it is,
we're going to find something. Yeah,
that's going sour immediately.
Yeah, yeah, obviously. Do you think that's interesting at all too? How they kind of made that girl look like Tori, like. The actresses they chose are like, kind of like petite, thinner, kind of, light brown hair kind of girls.
Reflections in that.
So there's something there too. And and the hot dog scene, that cut, with the because that
was a good. Judah goes, "Oh, that was a great cut."
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it, son.
Yeah, that was not great. And especially because, we're trying to shield our son from that at the same time. And
it's a film cut.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I mean, just great.
Good first 2 episodes, huh?
Yeah.
So
also, I have to note, I like how they dressed Daniel in in episode 1, where he had that dark jacket. He just kind of had a more of a toned down, more down to earth. Okay, I gotta clean up some stuff here. He's sort type of. He's not in a suit coat. He's his outfit change is significant. He's not in a suit shirt or something, He's getting the seedy underbelly of,
So I don't know how much of Tori's mom we'll see or not. We never actually see.
Seems like she has free rent now.
She's got free rent now. And so we'll see what happens with that, and we'll see what happens with Anthony. Well, I was going to say Anthony. Where's Anthony at?
Haven't even touched on that yet.
Yeah, I mean, shown his dad's driving around chasing another kid. Where's Anthony at?
So it's great. We're so excited. Episode 3. Hopefully we'll have time for that tomorrow.
So that's a review of 1 and 2 and our thoughts so far, and some hypothesis.
What did we miss, though? I mean, I'm sure we've missed.
Yeah, leave us in the comments below what your feelings were for episode 1 and 2, and where you think we're going to go from here. We'll see you again on All Valley Karate. You're the best around.